I'd like to talk with you today about bone fracture resistance beyond BMD and T-score. If you go to the doctor today to ask about how strong your bones are, you'll be given a BMD test, a bone mineral density test. This is an X-ray where basically they look to see how white the X-ray is of your bones. In other words, how much bone do you have there? How much mineral is in the path of the X-ray beam? If you have bone loss, then you'll be prescribed a drug to reverse bone loss or at least keep it from getting any worse. That's the standard of therapy today, and it's prevented hundreds of thousands of fractures. It's not, however, the full story. You know from your own experience that there's good wood and there's bad wood. There's rotten wood and there's strong wood. There's oak and there's balsa wood, and there's wood that's been eaten by termites and wood that's dry rotted. I mean, a scientist would say there's wood with good material properties and poor material properties. And so in this image, for instance, of a person over a chasm, you might want to know about the properties of the beams, whether they're sound or rotten, before you stepped out on them. It's not just the dimensions, how much wood is there, it's also, is it good? This has not been possible to measure for bone until now. I can convince you that it is important. Let me first just show you a piece of bone that's just taken from a cow femur. This is just a soup bone you can buy in the supermarket, and I've cut it up into little pieces, and I'll show you this piece. The bone is pretty strong. You can whamp on it with a hammer and it's not going to break. And that's even this piece of bone that's dried out for a while. When it's really nice and wet and moist, it's even more fracture resistant. But say you take it and you bake it and degrade the organic components, like this piece of bone has been baked and the organic components have been degraded. Now this bone would have the same bone mineral density as this bone because we haven't done anything to the mineral. We've just degraded the organic components of the bone. But let's see what happens with these two samples that have the same bone mineral density. You just saw this one, but now look at this one. You think it's going to be harder to break now that it's baked, or easier? What do you think? The answer is it just shatters. The organic components are very important for the strength of the bone, but they're not measured in bone mineral density.